We did. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday after the 4th of July. I hope you all have recovered. I still feel a little off. We had out of town company. We ate too much sugar. Fireworks went off until like 2 a.m. Near my house. So it was an exhausting night, but always fun. So now, in our reselling business journey, I do want to dive right in and say, if you don't already know, I do want to share with you that now, right now, is when all the stores have big markdowns every year this first week of July. It's already started, but definitely right after the 4th of July. Clearance. I don't care what store you go into, there's going to be clearance. So if you want to be hitting the stores for clearance, Walmart, Target, everybody has the toys marked down, all the things marked down. So it's really great clearance shopping right now.
And then there's Prime Day from July 8th to the 11th, right?
Yes. So your sales should also be doing well. Honest to God, whether you participate in Prime Day or not in your store, you're going to do good sales volume because everyone is online shopping. So they can be impulse buying. Look, I've had so many Prime Days. At first, I used to do the coupons, the markdowns, lowering prices by a little bit, advertising. And then I didn't do any of that. And I still made just as good sales. I'm telling you, I don't think it matters if you mark stuff down, advertise it or not. Although I know some of the big Amazon gurus out there on the web would probably say otherwise. But I can tell you from a personal experience, I sell a lot regardless.
It's all on what are your products. If you are selling beach towels, I would say, and you're doing private label beach towels right now, probably need to run some sales and market appropriately. If you are selling cotton swabs for the bathroom, no, like just keep your prices as is. There's not going to be a rush. People are
Honestly,
looking
you
for
could
those.
raise your prices and make money because people are shopping like crazy for Prime Day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the Prime Day specials are for, when you're going to see the patio sets and the barbecues go from 300 to 250. That's where you're going to see those sales. But, if you're selling just staplers, you're not going to see it. That'll be back to school, and we got about a month before back to school hits back.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of little going ons with Amazon this week, and I know we made some notes to be able to share it with you guys. I know Lucy had a few points to make, but I don't know if you wanted to start off with your funny plate or if you wanted to.
I've got three things, and I don't remember writing these notes down, so I hope you have. I know we talked about them, but I don't remember if I wrote them down or not. Okay, so I've got couple of things to share. So first up, my son graduated. As you can see, we had our last graduation open house yesterday, but I also was in Vegas with Tina and we did something with the family down there and I ordered plates. And so I ordered whatever private label, they were on sale. I needed kind of the cheapest, but also that had plates, forks, napkins, and I wanted cups. So anyhow, I found the best set that had, the best servings and anything. And I shipped them directly to my mother. And I asked her, I said, can you just open them up? She's like, no, it's plates and forks. Like, it's fine. Like, we'll deal it. Not a big deal. We'll just open them that day. So this is what they sent me. And I don't know, does it show backwards on the screen there?
No, it's showing correctly. And
okay,
so
on my screen, it shows backwards.
Yeah, so I ate off this plate, didn't even notice it.
We are so proud of you. And I went and I looked, and sure enough, the listing does have the misspelling in it. And so nothing says celebrate this education with we are so proud
with a misspelled plate.
Yes, misspelled plate. So that's probably why they were on sale. And they're probably not restocking that. And that is a huge, this is why you need somebody to be your second set of eyes with anything. I mean, I've definitely sent things to Tina to look over, like, hey, how does this look? She's sent to me. I've sent it to, friends or family or even my husband or kids. Like, could you just proofread this? Whether it's a resume or a letter or a goods or anything, because I'm telling you, we all get tired, or English is a second language, or you don't even speak English and you don't know. I've done that because I've had to write things in different languages before and used, like a translating service. And then I have to have somebody that is fluent go over it because they're like, yeah, it's not that great. But we were so prawned to my son, so prawned. And we kept one, put it in our little scrapbook for later. But they still served, they still functioned. I did, that there's just no, I bought them so long ago, there's no returning them. And it is, luckily, my family, we just laughed it off. But can you imagine if you were a party planner or something that was professional?
Oh, that
And
would
you
be a
served that?
nightmare. That would be a nightmare.
If this was your real job.
Yeah, and now with no party cities in town to go rush to hurry and buy what you would need. But you know what? Their misspelling actually made for a good laugh for everybody anyway. So sometimes these mistakes make for a fun story, right?
And we did have trouble procuring things. There's a lot of people that say, well, why go online? If you could just go get paper plates at Costco or whatnot. Well, you know how many times I've been to the store in the last month and they don't have what I need? It's been bonkers. I'm like, why don't you go to the store? What was it? We were at Costco and they were out of a couple of things. And then I went to the Dollar Tree and they were out of things. And you go to the party store and they're out of things. And it's just really, really difficult when you want to shop relatively close to the day of the event that you can't find the stuff out there. Very frustrating.
So
Anyhow,
I wanted to share also that Amazon just made an announcement on June the 20th that Amazon has increased your maximum box length for your FBA shipments going in to Amazon. It has always been the max dimension could be 25 inches on any side, unless your item was actually longer than the 25 inches. Amazon has just increased this to be the new max dimensions are 36 inches by 25 by 25. So that is a really big deal. If you want to be sending in those bigger boxes, but the 50 pounds is still the same. It cannot go over 50 pounds. In fact, I'm going to throw that right here in the chat for you guys to be able to have those dimensions if you did not know about it.
I did not catch that email. They send me a boatload of other emails, but that I
did not get that in an email. I got that because another Amazon seller friend let me know, and two, I get several different newsletter emails that talk about Amazon news and things going on in the community. And this was also in an email. I do not recall ever getting this information from Amazon.
They switch up and that's why I'll tell you right now, if you are worried and you're making big business decisions based on their policy, it does you good if you go and you print to a PDF or something that policy, because it has changed multiple times over the years. So you may be stuck in the 25 by 25 by 25, and then now it's 36, 25, 25. I would go screenshot that, because if you make a business plan that's going to be a significant chunk of your business, to now go to 36, 25, 25, and they change back to 25, 25, 25 because it didn't work out. They've done that. They've implemented things and then it doesn't work out. And so they go back. You want to have that on file, especially with a date and the timestamp, because I've had that happen before where it's like, this is the policy. And the people on the other line are like, no, it's not. Look, now the policy. And you're going, wait a minute, I swear it changed. And they just think you're crazy. So that has definitely happened.
And other Amazon news too is that I read, and it's on the Wall Street Journal, you guys can Google it. Amazon has over 1 million robots are assisting in fulfillment operations. So we are now, they say that roughly 75% of Amazon deliveries now involve robotics. So there are almost more robots than there are humans working at Amazon's warehouses right now.
then that's going to be the thing. They're talking about some of the auto manufacturers that are moving. There's one or two that are moving back to the United States because of all the tariffs and stuff. But they have stated that when they move back, they're building a robotic facility. It's not going to increase jobs per se. I mean, maybe like 20 people, but not the same type of manufacturing as it was, because they're going to automate and do robots for all of the assembly lines for our cars. Now, I don't want to sit here and say I'm pro robots or against robots or whatever. That's the way we're moving. It's kind of like people who were against the internet when it came out. It's coming, guys. It's coming whether you like it or not. And, you can sit there and drink your lemonade in the front yard and say, get off my lawn all you want. But progress is rolling out, and AI is going to be part of that. Robotics will be part of that. One of the biggest industries is, I don't remember what it's called. There was a name for it in particular, but the engineering that goes between programming and the manufacturing line. And that's something that my son is looking at because he now has his degree in programming. And there's a huge demand for getting if I type into the computer that I want, this arm to come down and twist like this, to make that happen in the manufacturing plants. So I did have, I have, like I said, 3 things. So let me share my screen here and bring this up. I received this last month. I want to say it was at the beginning of June. The due date was June 25th. So was that last week or maybe about 10 days ago? Yeah, 11 days ago. And what is happening is they are locking down a bunch of brands.
Yes, a bunch of brands.
All right. This one says you can go and learn more on all of the policies here, and I will probably go reread those just because I like to reread the policies every once in a while. I'm weird like that. And you now will need to be ungated in said items. Now, the ones that I have tried have pretty much been locked down. They're like, we're not accepting applications. Oops. There we go. This is the list of brands. So if you're watching this, you may want to screenshot, take a little snippet of it. Let's see here. What stood out to me? Gerber was a big one that stood out. I've sold tons of Gerber. I don't sell Prada. Berkeley is at Costco. I did see a was it Berkeley? No, maybe it was Bagapalooza or Bagalooza. Whatever. I don't see that one now.
It sounded like Bag of Losers.
Yeah, it does sound like Bag of Losers, but it is at Costco. Hawaiian Tropic. I've sold lots of Hawaiian Tropic. This one. This is a big school supply. They sell the #1 pencil for kiddos to do testing, when you need to have a pencil. The other one that really caught my eye was Rhode Island Novelty. Rhode Island Novelty has been at every ASD. I've bought and sold from them many, many times. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for a toy ungate or just a wholesaler, you can go make a wholesale account. They're pretty easy.
Most people know. Yeah, so that's interesting. And, with Rhode Island Novelty, they're still sending me emails about, here's the latest thing that came out. I've had an account with them for many years. Yeah. But I do wonder, if you're an existing customer, are they going to let you, or are they now just narrowing it down to they're only going to have so many Amazon sellers they're allowing to sell it?
I don't know.
Or is everyone done? I'm definitely curious about Rhode Island Novelty.
I'm tempted to reach out to them.
Just to ask.
I have gotten so many calls. Am I going to ASD in Vegas? And I looked at the dates. It's like the first week of August. And my daughter is going to be kind of in and out of the country. And so I will not be going to the ASD in August. I've had my fill of 100-degree days, but I will plan probably next March. I like the March one better. I know is March bigger or is August bigger?
I think August is.
Well,
because it's right before the Q4 show.
That's true.
So I think there's more vendors then. It's just, it's so hot here in August.
I know. It's like if you ever wanted to visit hell, that's how I feel. Like I land, I'm like, all the moisture is zapped out of me. Okay, I'll look at flights. But Bagalini is on there. That's the one that is at Costco. Dr. Teal's, huge one. I've sold lots of Dr. Teal's.
Same. A lot of us have sold Dr. Teal's. A lot of these brands I have sold. So some I'm surprised to see, some I'm not, like Versace. Look, I never was even trying to get into Versace, right?
Yeah.
But other
Crocs.
ones like Yardley in London.
Yeah, Yardley London. They sell, there's Yardley sometimes at the Dollar Tree, but they do
Exactly.
a lot of soaps. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
these remind me of Big Lots and Dollar Tree finds.
Mm-hmm.
Crocs, those are big at the discount stores. I've sold lots of little kids Crocs, the pink and the sparklies and the all the little things. And the Croc charms sell really well too. If you ever find the Croc charms at Marshall's, but
Gibbets, I think
interesting.
they're called.
Huh?
I think they're called gibbets, is what they call those charms. There's an actual name for it. I'm pretty sure it's gibbet.
I don't know. You're the Croc expert. Primitives by Kathy. That was a weird one to see on there too. They're another wholesaler. A lot of people buy Primitives by Kathy. She sells hot mitts and not wash rags, kitchen towels and things like that. And they'll get like, 2 kitchen towels and a hot mitt and put it together in a little bundle under Primitives by
A lot of her
Kathy.
stuff is super outdated. I know that there's a
Mhm.
bundly lady that's been around a long time, and she buys a lot of their stuff. Her
Mhm.
listings don't do well. She sells like those little tiny signs, yay big, that have the quote on it, like live, laugh, love. Primitives by Kathy is a lot of that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Diaper Genie I've never really done. And then Asics, Reeboks, and there was Crocs, and there was another big Brooks. Brooks was somewhere over here. All big shoe selling. So that is, oh, yeah, Flip It Good. Hey, Flip It Good, by the way. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, hi, Flip It Good.
Champion, where I don't see it
I
right
know
now.
it'd be nice if
Actually,
this
my
was
eyes
in
are on it.
alphabetical order. And then Goody, the very last one. I've kind of known that Goody was going to be working its way out because one of my suppliers sold a lot
Oh,
of
there's
Goody and said, "Yeah, we can't sell Goody to anyone anymore." So I wasn't surprised when I saw it, but it's like I'm surprised. Goody, it's just their stuff isn't real high dollar. I've sold a lot of Goody at a profit, when I was buying it, when I used to do closeout buying. But Goody, for those of you who don't know, they make women's, the rubber band ties for your hair, barrettes,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
little, they mostly sell things for your hair, like those pink sponge rollers that were
Mhm.
popular back when I was a little girl.
Yeah. Little Live Pets did really well with those on the last couple Q4s. Scrubbing
Mhm.
bubbles, not really going to affect me. That's too heavy. I don't really do much
Yeah.
scrubbing. Pillow pets. I've done pillow pets. Not a
Hmm.
whole lot. They're usually
I
not
used to get them at Burlington Pillow Pets.
pillow pets at Burlington. Yeah, yeah. I've done what was it, like Frozen and Marvel stuff at there in the pillows, but they weren't pillow pets. They were just decorative pillows that I would do.
Adidas didn't surprise me either because Adidas has
Mhm.
been going really hard for over a year now on eBay. And you can get them like half off. They've been really pumping, and Adidas themselves are selling on eBay. But
Yeah.
all of the shoe companies, none of those surprised me because we all felt it when it started off with Nike.
Yep. Absolutely. Uh, what was I going to say? Barco. I have sold the crib sheets for Barco. That was something that would be really good. The crib accessories that you could get at the discount store. So that was interesting.
And I honestly think there's more brands than these. I really do. So it's interesting that Amazon put out a brand list for one, that they actually sent this. Now, not everyone got this. Lucy got this email with this list of brands, and this came from Amazon. I didn't get it. And there are brands on here that I have sold. So at first I thought, oh, well, maybe you are selling some of the brands that are on this list currently. And she wasn't. And so it's interesting why it was hit and miss who got this email and who didn't.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. I know I've sold a good handful of items on here in the past. So was it, if you've sold 10% of the list, you get this, or was it just
I don't
some
know.
people, or did it go to your spam? I have no idea.
Hi, Steph sells stuff by the seashore. I haven't seen your name in a while. Thanks for
Wait,
joining us here.
yeah, thanks for joining us. And are you related to Sue? And because isn't it Sue sells stuff? I'm trying to remember if it was Steph. I thought it was a different S name. But hello, hello. And if it is the same person, I do see your pictures. So I saw some traveling the other day, which was fun to see. I always like seeing when everybody's out doing fun things.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher teacher created resources. This one was interesting. Teacher
Mhm.
created resources is a great website if you are a teacher and you need lesson plans. She better stay on her own side of the beach. Now I gotta look it up because I don't remember taglines. I love it. But thank you for joining us.
That's funny.
So teacher created resources. If you needed, worksheets for the kiddos that do different things. And I never knew that they sold. I only know because we have a bunch of teachers in our family, and they reference that. They're like, oh, if I need this worksheet or that sheet, I pay my subscription. I just go on and I find what I want.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it as a reselling thing. And then I was like,
Well,
I
yeah,
should
I
have
think
thought
people
of it.
probably were downloading their stuff and selling it on Etsy would be a guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else on here? Rodent and Fields. Okay. Why does that one? I know this one.
Rodent and Fields is like when we were kids, they always did Tupperware parties, things of that nature, right? And then
Okay.
in more recent years, it was, the Yankee, not Yankee Candle, but the wax melt. What's that?
Oh.
I'm drawing a blank on it, but you know what I mean. So Roden and Fields is a company like that, except it's skincare. So you want to sign people up to also sell Roden and Fields and do the thing.
Yes.
So Roden and Fields is a skin care Tupperware party, if you will.
Got it. Okay. That's where I remember them. And they do.
Scentsy, that it came to me. The wax melts are Scentsy. So
Scentsy, thank you.
Scentsy,
Yeah.
or like the other are those little oils that are also very popular that people sell
Yeah.
for smelling for your health, whatever reason, making that hand soaps. Now a lot of those reselling pyramids, as we'll call them, the products are more elevated than they were, years ago when it was mostly just Avon.
So I see a lot of Scentsy in the Value Village. That's where I see people who have, done with their business and they just donate it all. And so they'll bag up, 6 or 8 of those little Scentsy things. And it's sad. It's sad. Same with, what was it? Lululemon. Yeah,
Not
Lululemon.
Lululemon. No, Lululemon is still very hot, and it's a store at the
But
mall.
with the
You're
Costco.
talking about the different clothing line that people were going crazy for. They even made a documentary on it. I see it all the time when I'm outsourcing, and I'm drawing a blank on that name too.
Okay, I know that one, but I draw a blank too. You guys got to help us out because
Look, it's that Gen X brain. You got to help a girl out.
But no, with Costco got in trouble with Lululemon this last week.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently Costco's selling dupes, and Lululemon is suing the pants off of them, suing the leggings off of them,
suing the leggings off of suing.
And I was at Costco, and I'm like, where are these hot leggings that I don't know about? I don't wear leggings much, but so Costco got in big trouble with Lululemon. It's a huge lawsuit if you want to look it up. Yes. Now I can't remember the other one now. It'll come to me. All right. So the last thing I have to say is I have a little story. Can't think of the name of stuff. Can't think of the name either. Oh, it'll come to me too. And usually it's right when we end the video, and I'm like, oh, it was this. I'll Google it here in a minute. Okay, so here's my new Amazon beef, and I don't think I've shared this because we had the GS1 lady on last time, and so it's been a minute. This is my problem. I'm replenishing inventory, and Amazon will say recommended level 10. And they take that recommended level, and it's based on how many you've sold, usually in the last week. So I'll look and I'll say, okay, I sold 10 in the last week. It makes sense that they want me to send 10 more in. And then I go and I put in 10, and it says, you have too much at the warehouse. You need to use our AWS system. You cannot send anything in. So then I change it to 5, to 1, to 3, whatever. And any amount, it flags it. LuLaRoe, thank you. Was that you?
Yeah, I typed it in there.
LuLaRoe. They will flag and they'll say, no, you can't send any in. You already have too much inventory at the warehouse. And the only way that I can get around this error is to start a new batch of replenishment going into Amazon. And it is so crazy because I'm going, why are you recommending me send stuff in, but then telling me that I can't send stuff in because I have too much stuff there? And the numbers aren't making any sense. So whatever. No, because it will be like recommended level 10 and I have 5. in stock and it's saying send 10 more in, but then I have too much in, but I'm below my recommended minimum, it's bonkers. And I have not figured out any cases or anything like that. I am stuck in other BS right now.
Yeah, and like I told you, I have 9 in stock of one item. I made the listing for it. I've never sold it before. I sent in 10, but of course they lost one. So I have 9 in stock. Haven't sold one yet, this item, right? So
Yeah.
when I went in to do my shipment, and I saw my recommended sending in, they wanted me to send in, I think, 20 more of this particular item. And I thought, why? I didn't even sell one of any that I have sent in.
Something is going on. And that's why we get on here and we talk, and it's so important to have a community where you can talk about this, because you if you were isolated, which I was for a long time, you think you're going crazy. You're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make logical sense. And you get on the phone with other techs and they don't have a clue what is going on or why. And they'll just open up weird cases and they'll say, okay, we'll open up a case. And then they don't. I've also had a lot of problems with getting back ownership of listings and being able to change the title and update the pictures. I've had trouble with them saying that my pictures don't have a white background. So I open them up in Canva. I say, take out the background. I save them. I re-upload them, and that fixes how I'm going. I don't know why that works or the logistics behind it or anything like that, but it works. So I'm going to keep doing it and getting them fixed, because I don't have a better solution. So it's kind of, some days, did you ever watch The Simpsons where Homer puts out a no bears on yard sign and Lisa's like, we don't have bears? And he's like, yeah, because of the sign. Sometimes I feel it's just that silly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Melinda. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Melinda.
She's
Yeah.
noticed that too. It does not make sense. Yeah, there's been so many little glitch things that doesn't, just flat out don't make sense. Don't make sense. Anyhow.
So I want to share something. So as Lucy knows, and a lot of you know, some of you haven't watched in a while, maybe do not, but I'm obsessed with AI and Chat GPT. I have been for some time now. Oh, I see you're out of this question first. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. So I wanted to touch on this because absolutely,
Yes.
she's noticed that if you make a change and resubmit it, absolutely. Sometimes I've just gone in there and added like change, sometimes the battery part isn't filled out or like the quantity isn't filled out, and I'll put one, or I'll just take my generic keywords and I'll swap keywords around, and so that it has some sort of change, and update and resubmit, and it will fix it too.
Yeah.
I have noticed that as well.
Very good tip.
Yes. So, okay, sorry, go back to chat.
No, you're fine. No, because I'd rather finish the thought. So I've been playing with Chat GPT for over a year now, and I've dived more and more into it. And of course, there was a course I was taking that I'm still not done with. And I've been learning so much with AI, and I've been using it in some ways that are really simple that maybe you haven't even thought of. So for instance, my husband got this device from an auction. It's for checking your engine. I don't know. It's guy stuff, car stuff. Anyways, when he got it, I have the picture on my phone. I took a picture of it to upload to Chat GPT. I don't know that you can see that well.
No.
But anything, all of the lettering here on the device that's lit up is in Chinese. And so now this auction that we buy from, it's Amazon return. So this is all Amazon inventory. So of course we assumed, well, they returned this because this device is still in Chinese. And so I had a thought. I said, let's take a picture of it and upload it to ChatGPT to translate it for us. And I did exactly that. So I'm going to share my screen just, for you to see this here. So I said, I'm trying to get my device set to English, and I had uploaded that photo. For whatever reason in this chat, that photo disappeared, which is why I showed it to you on my phone. And so it broke it down. These are what all of those little windows said, and it translated it to English for us. And so we were able to click the right button by reading that. When he clicked it, you could see then everything in English, and now the device is set to English. So that was just a really simple, helpful way to use ChatGPT. Also like silly ways that you might use it for, like Lucy had the big list of Amazon items that are now going to be gated, that we're not going to be allowed to sell. And we're looking for like, where was Champions? And it wasn't in alphabetical order. She could have copied that, pasted that list into ChatGPT and say, categorize these in alphabetical order, right? And maybe you want it that way for the ease of sharing your list. And these are just some silly, simple ways you can use ChatGPT to help you.
So some of the things that I constantly do is I will copy, people will give me their keywords or their bullet points or whatever. And for keywords, what I'll do is I copy, because they go to Helium or Jungle Scout or whatever, and they'll pull just a cerebral yank, and it will be whatever, coffee cup, teacup, coffee mug, tea mug, uh, what is this one called? Best mom ever, Mother's Day gift, gift for mom. And when you do your SEO, you do not want to have repeated words, and you don't want commas and colons and stuff in there. It eats up on your amount of characters you're allowed to have. So I literally have to take what they give me and then I run it into ChatGPT and I say, please eliminate any duplicate words and commas, dashes, semicolons, whatever they've used to separate out. And people are like, oh, I didn't know you should do that. I'm like, no, because you're just pulling straight from Helium and Jungle Scout. And I get, I don't want to say upset, but upset on their behalf, because they're paying an arm and a leg for something that you could literally get for free. Or, I don't need somebody to tell me that keyword is coffee mug for this product. And they'll just do all the words around coffee mug. And then I'm like, okay, but why would you buy a coffee mug? And they're like, oh, well, for Mother's Day or a birthday gift or a Christmas gift or, a gift for your wife. And I'm going, why aren't those words in there? They're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, because Cerebral doesn't do that. So you've got to use these programs in conjunction with some common sense to get all of the keywords. You don't want to lose out on some of those obvious ones when you start thinking of why you would buy this gift, your target audience, different seasons, different reasons there. But yeah, that's what I do. I just go to ChatGPT and I'll say, give me all of the top 30 SEO phrases for coffee mug, and then give me all of the occasions that you would buy a coffee mug from. And
Yeah, we can do something like that in real life on
sure,
ChatGPT. Should I pull up a coffee mug listing for funsies?
you can, or you could just pull up ChatGPT. I don't
Well,
know.
because I thought we could use a real listing on
Sure.
Amazon. Um, so I'll pull up coffee mugs for what? Not kids. Pulled up for camping. I'm just going to pull up a coffee mug. All right, I guess I should share my screen here so
That
we
would be
can look
helpful.
at all the things. So we're just going to do this for a case study here. So here I am on Amazon. I pulled up just coffee mug listings. So maybe we have a niche that we're in. Maybe we just have our listing and it's not selling well and we want to make it better. Maybe we're trying to study whatever your reason is why we are now sourcing and looking up coffee mugs. So
Mhm.
I might actually even put this link, and we'll come over here to chat, and we're going to start a new chat. See, I've programmed it to know my name and look, I'm always in here. Okay.
You've
So
gotten really friendly with it too.
I have. So can you examine my Amazon listing and give me some feedback on how to improve? I've never done this before, ever. So I don't know if it can actually do this or not, but we're about to find out. So let's see if it can actually go to
Let's
this.
see if it does it. I'm curious because usually ChatGPT only scrubs it's 2 years out. It sometimes can't do it. Oh, it does. Okay, hold on. I gotta make this
Here's a
bigger.
breakdown of your listing with actionable tweaks. Let's brew up more magnetic and profitable. So it's saying the title, it includes core keywords, 17-ounce enamel and camping. ChatGPT is telling us what is working. And here are opportunities for improvement. It's currently too long. remove redundancy, camping gifts, camping mugs,
Oh
because
yeah,
both
they're cracking down
appear.
on that. Did you get that email? They did say with titles, if your titles are redundant, they will start flagging them and shutting them
Yeah,
down.
because what they don't want is the word camping twice.
Right.
So gifts and mugs are both okay, but it's the redundancy is the word camping. So
Yeah.
lead with your strongest hook, gift angle, or material. Example, 304 SS enamel camping mug, 17 ounce, his and her gift set. Now let's look at what it currently is. So they do, because I thought, what's that 304 SS? So I guess that is in here already.
It must
And
be
they did have
referencing the gold.
camping here, but they do have Christmas, Valentine's Day, his, hers. So those things
So,
are in
so
there.
this is where I would go down, and I do this a lot with clients when they say, when I see that like 304 SS, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So then I would go to ChatGPT or just to Google and say, what is 304 SS? And then further, is it important to the customers? Because
Yeah,
I
that
I
needs
am
to be
interested in the
right there.
camping and RVing and lots of other keywords. I may ditch the 304 if people, if it's not something that is a strong SEO, get rid of it. I mean, you
Yeah,
could put that down in the
yeah.
bullet points.
And then they say your images, your multiple angles, 360 view, lifestyle, couple shot. That's what is working. But then there's telling you things that you could add as far as within your imagery. And the bullets that highlighting color option, emphasizing durability, you could start with your top benefits. Reorder, start with the top benefit, which is that it's big, that it's 17 ounces for all day hydration, or quantify your benefits. It holds 17 ounces, 40% more than the standard cups. So, like, you're comparing it to something. So, Chat GPT really does give some good recommendations. And so it went on further to say, here's your current title, here is what it could look like. And then it's giving you a bullet refinement. And so you obviously can take a look over its suggestions and decide what you would like to keep or not keep. Now, it also gave me back-end keywords. For one, I work with ChatGPT a lot, so it already knows I'm going to want back-end keywords because, like Lucy said, I ask for things like that a lot, things that are maybe not in my bullet points or my titles. I
Mhm.
generally ask ChatGPT, hey, are there words that we have left out of the title and the bullet points that are relevant to this product that we could possibly, one, either have in our backend as our keywords, or that I can use these keywords in my Amazon advertising campaign. And so I love this camping mug, hiking coffee cup. I like those two a lot. Outdoor travel cup, I like that. Christmas camping gifts. I like that because it's coupling what it is, a camping gift. And then, of course, for Christmas or with Christmas, his and her camping mugs. I like that because it was two mugs and a road trip coffee cup. I love that. I love some of those examples. And these examples, I may actually want to find a way to put them in my bullet point. I may ask ChatGPT to do that. Additionally, they may be images that I want to come up with, like, oh, wow, showing it being given as a gift, or the husband and the wife each having their own mug, or, showing it kind of on your dashboard as you're driving on the road. Like, these could now become great image ideas. And then, of course, I've programmed Chat GPT, how I have Tina's voice and things over here, that I want it giving me where they pull this marketing management. I want it giving me links to real case studies or proof, if you will, of theory. So that's why mine has this little snippet at the bottom. But I think these are really great suggestions. And there's so much more you can use Chat GPT for in helping you with your listings. And not only with Amazon, be it Walmart, Etsy, eBay. That using the photo option I use for eBay quite a bit when I'm running across an item. Right now I'm currently researching these vintage woodworking tools. And these vintage woodworking tools have different numbers, there's different styles. Some are World War II era, some are after, and so that it's like it'll be like a number 5 type 7. And so this type 7 is what year it's from. I know nothing about vintage tools. Frankly, I don't really care to know, but there's value in me giving this information on eBay. If it's a
Yeah.
type 6 or a type 7 means more cha-ching. And so
Well, that's where those numbers are important in that situation with this mug. I don't know if the S360 SS or whatever it was, like, I don't know what it means, so I don't know if it's
let's find
important.
out what that means.
Certainly can.
Let's find out what that means. We need to know. So
The other thing I was going to say with those back end keywords is, like Stanley is the number one, is a huge coffee mug type of seller. And sometimes you can put Stanley in that back end keyword. If sometimes Amazon will flag it. If Amazon flags it, take it out. If they don't flag it, you may get some of the traffic from people looking for like a Stanley coffee mug. Now, I don't think this one really lines up with Stanley because Stanleys are the big, and so you're not quite getting the right audience coming over, and you don't want to have traffic that's not really for your product. But if you are selling something that's very similar, like if I sold sneakers, sometimes I'll put the word Nike if they're like Nike shoes. All right, what does it say?
yeah. So it's a type of stainless steel. So it is a mixture of 18% chromium, 8% nickel. So what it means, why it matters, what we care to know is that it's highly corrosion resistant. So it won't rust when exposed to coffee, water, or the great outdoors. Now that makes sense to all of us. We all get that. But I did not know until right now what this 304 SS even meant. So it's about
put a whole bullet point just on what that is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would make a great bullet point to explain what that is. Now, there may be people out there that know this, and that's why they wanted that in their title, because maybe avid camping coffee cup buyers look for these type of coffee cup because they know this. So there will be an audience that knows this. But since it's such a cute little camping coffee cup set that you would be buying for a gift, or maybe you're going on a camping trip and you're just the average person that goes camping once in a blue moon and just wanted a cute camping gift for somebody, we're not going to know what that means. So
not unless you put it in the bullets.
So that's really interesting.
So we learned something new today. Hey, while I got a minute, I did want to highlight here Steph Sells by the Seashore. I'm going to go ahead and link her YouTube as well in the chat if you have not already joined her. I like supporting people, and I got to hit subscribe here as well myself. But go check her out. She's got over 1,000 videos and does vintage stuff. So that's exciting. And if anybody ever does want to come on, we do like to interview and cross-platform over. So just email resellingmom@gmail.com. Go ahead and just send me an email. We'll schedule you into the show and have you on. I love hearing about vintage stuff. If I had more brains upstairs that retain that information, I would love to do that. But as Tina knows, my mom does antiques and has done antiques since I was little. And she remembers all the things. And I'm like, I just wasn't born with that piece. I've tried building up my brain to remember that, but now maybe with ChatGPT, I can get away with not remembering. But she'll look at something. She's like, oh yeah, this is from blah, blah, blah era. And this is this.
I love that. That's like my uncle with these tools. Sometimes I call him up, like, what is this tool? Because he'll know. And, oh yeah, and it fascinates me, everybody is good at something, right? Everybody has knowledge in something. And a lot of times we as people tend to dismiss that, like, because you know it so well, it's a little boring to you, even though you like it. And you don't realize that your wealth of information and knowledge that you kind of dismiss, for the rest of us, it's so interesting, and we can have so much to learn by doing that. Yeah, Steph, if you ever want to come on and talk about your topic of interest, I love that. I'm a sponge for knowledge. I sure wish I was that same sponge for knowledge back when I was a teenager in high school, but I sure am now.
Yes, absolutely. We were talking about chemistry, and I'm like, oh, I think I retained about 1% of my chemistry knowledge from all my classes. I don't remember it. I'd have to refresh. But again, it's been a minute, so I don't want to beat myself up. You definitely don't want to do like negative self-talk in life. I try not to do that. I am in awe of these people that can do the vintage stuff and they remember, they'll look it up once and they'll remember it. And I look it up 50 times and I still don't remember it. And I go, why? Why? Email you. Absolutely. Okay.
And
Somewhere on there.
And then I was going to say something else with AI, because it's like my world is AI right now. I can't remember what that was, but you guys definitely use ChatGPT for your business. You can do it just for fun things. If you are an Etsy seller and want to sell like the digital downloads and the printables, ChatGPT just can give you so many cool ideas for printables. I did for my grandson this week just for fun because I had thought about it. Years ago, I was given a gift from a coworker who was really into astrology. This lady wanted to know all, like my sign, and she just loved astrology. So for my birthday, she gave me this birth chart. I think it's called a natal birth chart, where your sun is rising in Pisces and your moon is it was very detailed birth chart. And so of course it's fun because it's all about you, right? We all like to read all about ourselves and what our future destiny might be, and what we're probably like as far as our personalities, or what kind of careers might suit us, and that's what these birth charts do. So I thought, well, my grandson is about to turn 1 year old in September, and I thought, oh, how fun to do that for a baby. So I went into ChatGPT and I asked it, can you help make me one of these birth charts? And of course it said yes. So you have to know, of course, you don't have to have the person's name, but you have to have your birth date, where you were born, and what time you were born in order to have an accurate birth natal chart, the zodiac chart. So I plugged in that information, but just titled it, for baby, rather than putting in his name, right? So it gave me this really cool birth chart. And I told it, I said, keep in mind when making this report that this is for a baby, who hasn't even begun to be their own real person yet.
Yeah.
So that way it was geared for the age. And I thought, what a cool thing to sell on Etsy. So I went looking on Etsy, and there's a lot of people selling these type of birth charts. And I thought, you know what? I bet a lot of them are using ChatGPT to do it. But there was only a couple. I didn't see many that were really geared for like a newborn's gift and I thought, what kind of a cool gift to give parents for their new baby, like right after the baby's born. It, of course, can't be a baby shower gift. It's not been born yet, right? But after it's born, what a cool, fun little gift that you can give new parents about their baby. And something like that you could work up on ChatGPT. ChatGPT also asked, did I want the colorful little graphs and charts? I mean, you could put up this whole report for newborn babies astrology, and give that, and market that yourself on Etsy. And, there's just such cool ideas. Oh yeah, here you go. In-depth birth chart. Exactly that. But I would gear this maybe for, like your teenager, your high school graduate, right? And before they go out into their adult world, or, I mean, you could really, and you can make it look more cutesy, where these look very, astrology shop, right? I would maybe want it a little bit more cutesy, rather than the lady right there looking more like your fortune teller.
She looks kind of spooky. I'm not sure I like it or don't like it.
and that may be a bad idea on ChatGPT. It may be too flooded. I don't know. But this was just the kind of stuff I was thinking, like, wow, we can really all broaden our sales out there in other ways. Because we all do have downtime. And really, what is it to make a really fun little Etsy listing? Now all you need is that person to give you that information. When it made me this whole report for my grandson, and I plugged in that information, you guys, it was less than 5 minutes. And you can print these things out in a PDF format to now upload to your client on Etsy. And there's a lot of information like that you could sell on Etsy that is just simple fun. So just think about anything that you're searching on the internet for your own, diet, like how do I lower my cholesterol? How do I, just stuff that we all do in our everyday lives, and think, if it's something that you could ask ChatGPT, and then go look on Etsy and see, is anyone selling something like this?
We when the kids were born, I got each of them, it's like it's I think a 11 by 14 framed thing, and it has their name, their birth date, the time, the place, etc. And
Mhm.
then it has a blurb on what does your first name mean? What is the origin of your first name?
Yeah.
What was the price of stamps? What was the price of home? What was the median income? What was, the top headlines of the news for that day? It's got a whole bunch of different things. And
Fun
I think
little
one of
notes
them
in
is your
there. Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, and
But
that's a very kind of thing you could sell on Etsy.
mhm.
People love those unique gifts for their children, and something like that, like what was popular when your kids were born. It's like you're framing not only their name and the meaning of it, but a timestamp of history in
Yeah.
that moment when they were born, and it's really cool.
Yeah. It's like the number one song, the number one TV show,
And I've
the,
seen those as cards when
yeah.
when everyone used to go into the Hallmark store to actually buy a card. There was always that carousel of the year someone was born and all the things from that year. And these old ideas can become new again. I mean, because they're not going to have gone away. And yeah, there's so much with ChatGPT. That's why I've been trying to do some of my own just separate videos from our lives. And I just have so many ideas and fun ways I'm using ChatGPT that I'm just excited about it.
So I just typed in the ChatGPT, what are the top selling printables that make money? Because that's
Mhm.
always a good one too. And they have budget planners, financial trackers, monthly planners, to-do list, checklist, wedding planner printables, baby shower, pregnancy printables, educational worksheets for kids, party game invitations, product labels and tags, wellness, business templates, digital stickers. So there is a
There's
slew
a
of
lot.
things.
There is. And then the thing is because I've been studying that too, but the thing is taking that, like
Mhm.
the financial planner, and then you're going to niche it down. It could be, for, someone just out of college or young newlyweds, or toward you can merge it with something else that's very on topic. So I was looking at uh, through Etsy, and there's a lot of things geared for adults or people with ADHD. So I had asked in the Facebook group, nobody replied to it, but I asked if anyone was using Notions. Notions is a little bit like a Trello board, right? And there was a free version
Mhm.
of Notions, and on Notions, it's where you can track your time, what you're doing, how your day looks. Well, you can sell Notion templates on Etsy. And so ChatGPT told me it merged like a Notion template for people with ADHD. And because it broke down the different type of bundles that were being sold, and it found that this one was a profitable one because the price points were higher. So ADHD,
Mm.
look, life planner. So there is a
Yeah,
huge ADHD
bestseller.
market. Yep. If you are on TikTok, if you are on Instagram, there's a lot of people that have built their communities and their followings around people that struggle with ADHD. It could be ADHD, Amazon sellers, ADHD nurses. It doesn't matter. It's like you want to merge two topics, ADHD and this is where you can have the higher priced items and where there are some unique opportunities out there for digital download type of incomes. And this is just something that you can have on the side of your Amazon business. A lot of us do have these little side things. A lot of us do Amazon Walmart, Amazon eBay, eBay Etsy, Poshmark. Most of us have a little mixture of other stuff in there.
So, I mean, I love all of these ideas. And what I want to say is do not be afraid to make a small purchase to see what they are selling. You can see that this life planner, if you were thinking really about the Notion, it's on sale for $28. There's nothing that says that you can't buy that. And I'm not saying copy it, I'm saying use it as inspiration to see what is included, what is lacking. Run it through ChatGPT and say what is missing from this to improve and reformat and put together your own thing. I do this all the time with people that are like, what do I sell on Amazon? I get at Fivers once a week. What do I sell on Amazon? What do I sell? Well, you can go and do a gajillion hours of scanning. You can watch YouTubes for many, many hours. I said, or you can go and buy, for $14, you can buy the top 30 wholesalers. I mean, we give out a lot of wholesale information, but there are buy sheets out here that you can buy. Let's see, I'm trying to see if I can find one here. But
There are data scrubbers that
yeah, let's see
you
here.
can do, and then you can upload that into ChatGPT and have it do the research for you.
Yeah, but I mean, they sell them here too. So look at this, 740 verified Amazon suppliers. I don't know what that is, but for $10, maybe I should take a look at it if I'm looking at a place to start. If you really have no place to start, then you can definitely spend $10 and get something here. 50, let's see here. I'm going to just type it into the website. So Amazon.
And Scrooge Boy, I don't think I acknowledged you. Hello.
Good morning. I don't have my links up, but I know you can go buy sheets. I'm trying to think who sells them off the top of my head. We were selling it on Gumroad.
Mm-hmm. Look, I could go on and on with side hustles of money that could be made. The way you could take your current interest or your current knowledge and find a way to use it to, make a little side business. And then that way you're also doing something of interest to yourself.
Yeah. There we go. I am not endorsing this person. I just found them at OA Beans.
They have a good reputation.
Yeah. And all I did was just online sourcing. If you're like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to get, they're saying average $12 profit, average 75% ROI, average of 100 sales per month. You buy these sheets and they will all have something there. This is a free trial. I don't know how much it is. Let's see everyone's pricing. You can buy these sheets. I've seen them as low as $5, $10. This one's $88 a month for 200 leads. And you're telling me that if you have nowhere to go and you just want to pull that easy button and start with 200 leads, probably not 200 good leads, well, and 100 bonus leads, but I'm sure you can find some leads out of this list by researching it, and gives you a start point. So, what's $88 for 1 month? You're going to learn so much by going through that leads list and really jumpstart your thing, your business.
So Ollie says, what do you think about sales after Prime Day, and what will be our PPC strategy for this? It's always sad, the lull after Prime Day, right? Because we have these great spikes in our sales and we all enjoy that. And then we hit that, and that just doesn't feel good. So, but just remember that spike was a real nice gift. So I think you should just be running PPC all the time. Prime Day or not Prime Day, PPC should just always be part of your strategy at all times. You shouldn't be turning it off and then turning it on. Keep it on all the time. My PPC strategy is always the same, regardless if it's Prime Day or not. So I wouldn't change mine depending on what type of product you have. If you are a private label seller, I would have multiple campaigns running for your item. So if you sell those camping coffee mugs we were talking about, I would always be targeting other camping coffee mugs. I would do heavy product target to redirect traffic to my listing. I would be doing a very low auto pay per click by having it be Amazon's auto, and I would do it the close match, loose match, compliments, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one, substitutes. And then I would also be doing my own keyword targeting, whether it be broad match, phrase match, or exact match. I tend to be more of a fan of broad and phrase match keyword targeting. That's, where I generally just make more money with that approach. If you're somebody who's not great at PPC, I always recommend just running an auto campaign. Those auto campaigns work well.
Yeah, auto campaigns work well. Some of the other strategies that I've implemented or done is, your competition. Who's your big competition? Who do you want to exclude? If you're selling those camping mugs and they're in the $15 range, you do not want to be competing against the $10 mugs. You want to not have the cheaper ones, because people are going to kind of float off. You want to target people that are selling 2 mugs, not single mugs. So make sure you're targeting the right audience. I also sometimes will say, search and see what are the top misspellings. Like I have a listing that has leopard and people go LEO and LOE for leopard. So I'm going to have both of those words in those keywords. Nintendo is the number one misspelled word. If you're selling anything Nintendo, you better look up the top 5 misspells of Nintendo and have them in your back end
That's a really good
SEO somewhere,
point. And
whether
also,
that's eBay or Amazon.
yeah,
And
and
then
Amazon has, go ahead,
hold
sorry.
one last thing. Look up the top couple of words in Spanish. What is coffee mug in Spanish? Because that's the second most searched language in Amazon. Sorry. Okay, that was my.
No, you're fine. No, those are all really, really good points. And there is now a new feature in your ad campaign. I can't remember what it's called, but when you click on your bids, where you can go in there and increase your bids for top of search, rest of search, and there's a third category. There's now another tab where you can also raise your bid for either Amazon business customers, especially if your product is heavily sold for business people. And in there's also another tab where you can target it by audience now. So people who are likely to buy, there's 2 choices in there. And so I've been playing around with that a little bit too. And so you want to go into that section where you can increase your bids.
Yeah, I still see loose, close, substitutes, complements.
Yeah, I'll have to show you after the live how to access that. And maybe we can cover that on another show on some PPC strategies. We don't do that often on this channel, but it's definitely important for running PPC. PPC is much more competitive. The bids are higher than they've ever used to be. So Amazon has really cashed in, it's another cash grab with Amazon on how difficult and expensive ads are getting. You can still do them on a budget, but
so
yeah.
What I'll say with those is whatever Amazon is telling you they're suggested, I always go lower than what they're suggesting. Of course, if you want me to suggest how much money you should give me, it's going to be higher. I'm not going to Amazon's not going to lowball itself. It never has. The other thing that I go in and I will take a look at is how soon my ads run out of money. So if I log in at 9 in the morning and that's what, noon Eastern Coast, east side, always take the time zones into account there. If I log in at 9 in the morning and I'm out of budget, then maybe I need to adjust my budget or lower my bids, because if I'm blowing my budget out by the time your coffee is done, then I'm not doing any advertising in the evening. You can even go more granular and see when your target people are buying and target like different times. Like maybe I just want to target 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I don't go that granular though. I feel like that's just too much data for me.
Yeah.
There is a data overwhelming aspect with advertising. Oh, Ollie says, thank you, Tina and Reseller, for giving good explanation. I've been working as a brand manager for the last 3 years and found great insight. Excellent.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. Yeah, I would I wasn't able to go as deep as I would need to, because look, I could talk for hours on PPC. So I hope that blanket answer was helpful. So thank you for that, because it definitely was not deep enough.
Yeah. Well, and I just go in and I increase or maintain things that are working, and don't be afraid to cut out what's not working. If you spent $10 and the negative keywords, that's a big one. I've gone into people's campaigns and I'm like, why are you spending so much on this phrase? Like let's get rid of that phrase. It's not applicable to your product. So keep an eye on that. I like to look at the search terms.
Yeah.
And then see what is it spending on and what's actually converting. Because it's all about funnels, right? If you do any sort of watching on YouTube on funnels, it's impressions, like get your stuff out in front of people. And then from impressions, it's clicks. And from clicks, it's orders. So you want to have X amount of impressions leads to clicks, leads to orders.
Yes. And in the back end, you can see the search terms on the back end of your ad campaign. There is a section within there where you can see the search terms that Amazon customers actually typed in and what converted to sales and what didn't. There's a wealth of information in your PPC area of your ads.
Absolutely. Hold on. I'm going to bring this up real quick. I just want to if that will work. Does this work? Yes. Okay, so I just grabbed this. So clicks, you can sort these columns by spend, by order, by sales, and ACost. So I know I've got 1,000 impressions. I got 23 clicks on this one right here. I spent a whole $7.88 and it resulted in 2 orders. So you want to, sort by these different things, and you want to make sure that your top spend is getting you orders. And that's going to, you can also take those terms and either go increase them in your listing or decrease them in your listing. If I find that my coffee mug, all of a sudden stepmothers are becoming trendy because they're the best mother ever, I'm just throwing things out there, then maybe I need to go add stepmom into my listing more. And maybe I hadn't even thought about stepmoms because that, I don't think about stepmoms, and that's horrible of me, but there's always words you're not going to think of because it's not applicable to your life.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We appreciate you, and we'll see you back here next Sunday, same time.
Yes, ma'am.